On Saturday, November 2nd, starting at noon, Kevin Williams is helping sick kids by playing video games. He needs your help to raise $1,000 for the CHIO Foundation. Donate at extra-life.org/participants/347875. The following podcast may contain immature content created by Danny Parkhill and Michael Walsh. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
So the other day, I'm biking to work, and these geese wouldn't let me pass them. They just bullied me. And I'm thinking, what a f***ing heel. And I come to realization, Brock Lesnar is a goose. Because when I'm trying to get past this, like I'm looking at this goose, I'm like, you have no reason to be here. But I'm not going to do anything about it because I'm scared of you.
I want now somebody to remix Brock Lesnar's theme so that instead of those like, dun, 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 it's like,
outside all the goose talk, you should know that I am not Adam Goldton.
and I'm not Mike Walsh.
But this is the last thing, Mark. Fear you not. We're actually, you'll hear weird background noise. We are actually in Adam's vehicle coming back from the Transact Club. I keep saying that wrong. I've been
because you're not a Kiwi.
Yeah, that's it. I've been pushing the wrong venue for the last 6 weeks.
People are showing up at a completely different club tonight and going, what the hell?
Where are all the Australians? I know they're not the same thing. Leave me alone. We are coming back from the Union of Independent Professional Wrestlers presents Never Say Never. You know that because I've been talking about it for the last 6 weeks on both this show and all our social media. It's happened. It's done. We've done it. What just happened? So, Triple Mania just happened, and the last time you and I did a podcast together, maybe the last time, we actually talked about Cain Velasquez coming in. Well, it happened. And it happened in a big way. People love Cain Velasquez. Did you happen to see the match?
I didn't see the match. Tell me about it.
I didn't see it either. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I do plan on watching it. Unfortunately, the show as a whole is not getting rave reviews, but his performance and his attitude at the show is. People say that he went in there with more passion than you usually see from a guy who transitions from one sport to professional wrestling. He went in there not as a guy for a paycheck. He went in there wanting to be a pro wrestler. And apparently his performance showed it. So, good for Cain. And if that means we're going to get more Cain Velasquez in AAA, awesome. If that means we're one day going to get Cain versus Brock.
Have you seen the Brock Lesnar meme that has been going around?
I have not.
So, it's a picture of Cain Velasquez standing there triumphant at the AAA show, and then right underneath it, it's the picture of Jordan Peele.
I have seen that, yes.
With the word Brock Lesnar underneath it.
Yes. Because that match is not going to happen, let's be honest. But
why not?
I don't see Cain going to WWE anytime soon, not within the next 5 years.
Well, and probably not. No, maybe not within the next 5 years.
And I see, I see Brock being done in 5 years.
Yeah,
yeah, I do. I think when Brock's done, Brock's done.
I don't know, man.
We're gonna kind of hit on that a little.
Goldberg is about to wrestle. SummerSlam.
We're gonna get into that too.
Okay, so I'm just saying, with Lesnar's schedule and the fact that he is a superhuman being, and I don't mean like he's a great guy. I mean, I don't know Brock Lesnar personally, but the dude is a freak of nature. I imagine he's a guy that could wrestle into his 70s, probably.
Absolutely, and I think he knows that, but I don't think he's the kind of guy who wants to. I think he's the kind of guy, and obviously this is speculation, but he seems to me the kind of guy that says, all right, that was fun. I did it for 2 runs. I'm going to go and play with my cows now. I think when he's done, and that could be in 5 years, that could be in 10 years, that might be after SummerSlam. You know what I mean? I think when he's done, he'll know it, and I don't see that being too much longer.
Well, we'll have to see how much money Vince McMahon backs up in a dump truck to his house.
That is very, very true. Let's talk about, for a second, stuff happening in WWE. Roman Reigns, dodging death every week. Now, I'm not paying close enough attention that I'm watching all the shows, but I am seeing clips, and I'm kind of enjoying what I'm seeing with this. Now, people are making fun of it, calling it a rehash of the Stone Cold Rikishi storyline. But now this isn't going to happen, but if I'm a writer in WWE, you want to know where I'm going with this. You know who the perpetrator going after Roman is?
Who is it?
It's Death himself. I go for a straight Final Destination story.
What?
See?
Explain yourself.
Now, Death sent The Undertaker at him at WrestleMania. He beat him. Death sent cancer at him. He beat it. So Death's pissed, man. Death's trying to get him every week, and he just keeps beating Death. It's Final Destination wrestling style.
I mean, we did have Vince McMahon fight God,
right? So we can have Roman fight Death.
I will say this: I don't hate the idea, but I'm kind of messed up. So I don't know what that says about it.
I mean, it's better than Rowan.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's fun. Now, we won't go too much into this because I know you're probably going to talk about this with Jenny over on Women Crush Wrestling, but I do want to touch on the big announcement from AEW.
Yeah, go for it.
So the all-out buy-in casino battle royal.
Yes.
That is a long name for a match.
Yeah. Also, can I also say something here, just off topic,
yeah.
Kind of ramble here? I'm not sure I'm a fan of them calling it the Casino Battle Royale. They're not in Vegas.
No, it made sense the first time.
Yeah, like it made sense. What does it have to do with All Out? Like that, like even if it was All In too, okay, you could even make the argument, well, All In is like a casino term. Yeah. But I don't know. Is it just like, I'm just saying,
I agree.
I just don't think it fits in the situation.
No, I don't like the title either. However, I'll tell you what I do like. They did announce 3 names so far for this Battle Royal, which I'm guessing is going to be an all-women's Battle Royal.
Okay.
Well, the only reason I'm guessing is because the 3 names they've announced are all women's names.
But that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
They're kind of do mixed matches all the time.
But I just assumed that if they were going to announce, if it was a mixed thing, they would have announced at least one man.
I'll say this: if it is an all women's battle royal, I will be very interested.
Yes, as will I. Now, the 3 names, I'm excited about all 3 of these names. We'll start with the first one because I didn't even know she was still working, but it's Jazz.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Right up until earlier this year, she was the reigning and defending NWA Women's Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
She was forced to vacate the championship due to either a personal issue, a medical emergency, some sort of emergency that was non-specified.
Okay.
And that is why friend of Women Crush Wrestling and WrestleMedia, Allison Kay, is the current reigning defending NWA Women's Champion as of this recording, because it was her and Santana Garrett, I believe it was, for the championship at it was at one of the big NWA events. So,
right.
Yeah. So Jazz is back, baby. And that's exciting news for me.
That is very exciting. It took me by surprise. And then each, not to take anything away from Jazz, but each name just gets better better than the last from me. Because next is Ivelisse. And anyone who listens to this show knows I'm a huge, huge fan of Ivelisse.
Yeah.
The first few seasons of Lucha Underground really pushed her and showed how good she can be, and I think she's going to be amazing in AEW, and I think she can really show this in this big battle royal, so I'm excited to see her. And then someone I've never seen work, because I don't know, you can tell me if you've seen this young lady work, but the daughter of the Hot Rod himself, Teal Piper, is going to be in this match. Do you know anything at all about Teal Piper?
I did not even know that she was involved in the wrestling business whatsoever until this announcement. I knew that Colt had done some matches, although, if I'm not mistaken, he's more into MMA now, is he not?
The last I've heard, I believe you're correct, yeah.
And I know that they were out promoting their father's book or some sort of series, something that they had written a book. I think the two of them had written a book together about their father, about Piper. If I'm wrong about this and it's just a fever dream, I'm sorry. I'm running on very little sleep here, and I've traveled a long distance today, so I apologize. But the fact that she is stepping into the ring makes things really, really interesting, because it kind of makes me scratch my head and go, what is this, like, second, third generation women's renaissance we're going through?
Right?
I mean, we've got, in my opinion, the best women's wrestler in the world today, Tessa Blanchard. Mm-hmm. We've got Charlotte Flair. We've got Natalya Neidhart. And, you know, Roddy Piper's kid is getting in there now. Like, I mean, just to name a few.
I mean, I know nothing about her. I don't know if she can work, if she's good or not. But I'm excited just because, again,
it's intriguing.
If you listen to the show, you know I'm a huge Roddy mark. He was my favorite growing up. So to know that his daughter will be involved in the wrestling business in some ways exciting to me. And let's be honest. Let's say she finds her way over to training in the Performance Center, works her way up. Don't tell me there's no money in Teal Piper versus Ronda.
Yeah, it could be an interesting showdown.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
there's story written
because
everywhere.
Let's be honest, who knows where Ronda will be at that point in time? You know, for all we know, by then she could be a locker room leader for how old Teal is. You know
exactly.
What I mean? How old is she?
I don't know.
She's got to be young.
I saw her pictures. She doesn't have like a Wikipedia page or anything like that, so I couldn't get any information on her. But by looking at her picture, I want to say early 20s.
Yeah, she
now Roddy was, I want to say, in his late 50s, early 60s when he passed.
Yeah.
So I very well could depend. At least I'd say 25.
Well, you know, she's not past her prime, is what we're saying.
No.
Yeah, let's see what she can do. I'm excited.
And if she wants to go and learn, AEW is a good place to do it.
Sure.
You know, it's a good place to start.
As good as anywhere.
Yeah. We are going to end that up with a short interview that Adam was gracious enough to do at the show with a gentleman named
Lenny Lilac.
Lenny Lilac, who, of course, was not only one of the workers at the show. He was the
bar buster.
He was the manager of the Bar Busters, but he also had a lot to do with the actual production of the show, right?
Yes, he did.
So, would you say he was possibly Anthony's right-hand man?
Yeah, I got that feeling for sure. Although he would say, as you'll hear in the interview, that they're more partners.
Right. Okay. And he, as you'll hear in the interview, I'm not going to spoil it, but he had a little bit of connection to our past too, which is
this blew my mind.
Kind of cool. But yeah, you have to hear it.
Wait, your neighbor doesn't even know your name?
No, he's called me Leo for most of my adult life, and we've lived in the same house for 19 years, and he's called me Leo every time he's seen me.
Why have you not corrected him yet?
Because it's hilarious.
Well, I can't dispute you on that one. So, not Leonard with me today.
No,
I know him as Lenny Lilac.
Correct.
Man, thank you so much for being on The Last and Mark. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. Doing great.
I mean, we're coming at the Transact Club here. We're literally moments after Never Say Never, Union of Professional Wrestling.
Correct.
How do you think things went tonight? We had a great time. Mike and I had a blast.
Well, I had a lot of beer. I got drunk. I punched some guy in the face. I punched Lionel Knight in the face. And we won. So it was a great night.
How much beer did you consume?
Well, I think we brought 15 to the ring. So how many?
Did you have like a whole 2-4 back there ready to go?
Yeah, it was ready to go.
Would tell everybody who was unfortunate enough to not be at the show tonight, what were you doing out there?
The Bar Breakers, which I am a member of, we wrestled the Midnight Violence Syndicate. Well, you gotta excuse me, I've had a few cocktails.
15 of them, apparently.
Yeah, they were a strong competition. They did really well, but in the bottom line, we got the victory.
There you go, man. So a great night overall. I got to ask about putting this show together, because there's a reason it was called Never Say Never. A lot of people thought that the whole organization was dead and buried. So walk me through it. What happened? What changed?
We had a bit of a conversation. Kingdom and I used to wrestle here in Toronto for VCW. We used to other places, and I hadn't seen him in a long time, and we were in a bar one night after a wrestling show, and he's like, "What are you doing? Are you interested in doing something?" I'm like, "I was interested. He was interested," and we decided let's do something. So then, when we were having conversations, what do you want to do? What do you want to call it? What this? I'm like, well, let's bring back what you've made, because there's history in the title. There's guys who know it. There's name recognition. It's the right thing to do. Like, bring it back, because he loves it. Right? This is like his baby. So why not give them what they want? You saw tonight, the fans that were here tonight had a great time. Everybody was into it, and it makes people smile. So.
Are you and Kingdom like 50-50 partners, or do you handle one side of it, he handles another?
We're
How do you split
50-50.
Everything. That's awesome, man. That's great. So what are the intentions moving forward now? You guys are going to do more shows, I hear.
Yeah, we're looking, we got December 6th back here, and we're looking to run another town, which is in the works. So.
Oh, okay. Any hints you want to drop?
No spoilers right now.
Spoilers?
Check the website.
You want to plug the website? Plug it.
It's Union... Oh my God! Thanks a lot.
Sorry,
You're gonna
man.
get me fired.
I can insert it here with like Atlanta Falcons.
The Denver Broncos. Lisa says if I don't win, if she's going to love me, but if the Buffalo Bills don't win the Super Bowl, so please insert that. Please check the website.
How are you feeling before tonight? Were you guys nervous at all, or were you guys kind of just having fun with this? Like, what was your mindset heading into tonight?
I prepared myself to walk in tonight, and not one person walked in this building.
Well, you didn't get that. There was a lot of people here, actually.
So but if that's the mindset, Toronto's a busy place. There's wrestling everywhere tonight. I appreciate the fans that gave the opportunity for us to show what we can do. It's a lot different from what you're going to see elsewhere. Like this was obviously a more adult-oriented product.
Talk a little bit about that, because it seems like most companies these days are leaning towards trying to get that family-friendly market, and you guys are leaning in the opposite direction. Is that because you feel like it's a niche that's being ignored, or is it that you guys, that's the kind of wrestling we like? That's
the kind of wrestling I like. I mean, I grew up liking NWA territory wrestling, so this is what I was used to as a kid. Even as a kid, I got brought to this kind of wrestling, and this is what made me interested in wrestling. This is what made me become involved in wrestling, and this is what I like. So I hope other people like it, and I mean, there's got to be something for everyone's taste, right? So I mean, Tully Blanchard never took a bump onto Legos, but I bet you if he had been around today, he would. Yeah, he is around. He's managing something. Yeah, but he's not wrestling, is what I'm saying. But he might take a bump on Lego. You never know. That's Price is right. You're right. Of course, Union isn't the only thing you do. You do a lot of work in PWA as well. I've been in PWA for over 10 years. So, like, how did that? Was that another situation where you were just like, hey, let's talk to another buddy of mine and get this going, or what's the deal? No, PWA, it was a mutual friend of ours who had nothing to do with wrestling, got me involved with Eddie Osborne and Jeff Black and those guys. I had a store nearby, and they used to put posters up in my store, and actually we didn't know each other, and they didn't know that, like, my background, and just hooked up that way. But the common denominator is we all went to the Hart Brothers School of Wrestling. Oh, really? Yeah. Talk about that. What was that like? How'd you get hooked up there? That was the craziest thing that ever happened in wrestling. And anybody who went there in Ontario, worked there, lived there, there's stories for miles and hours.
Is that the Ike Shaw school that you're talking
Correct.
about? Okay, so we wanted to talk about this because Walsh was sitting here. Come here, you can tell us the story, Walsh, because you saw a guy wearing an ICW t-shirt tonight.
So I saw a guy wearing an ICW t-shirt. I walked right up to him and told him the very first indie show, very first wrestling show I ever attended was in 1998, and it was an ICW show put on by Ike Shaw. And I said, did you work for them? Where did you get that shirt? He goes, no, I bought it at a Sally Ann.
Yeah. I also went up to that guy because I made that shirt.
I used to have that shirt 20 years ago.
I printed those shirts.
That's amazing. What a small...
Because I worked there. So.
What was it like?
You were probably at the show I was at 20 years ago.
Where was the show?
It was in Englehart, Ontario.
Yeah.
A little whole town.
I was the ring announcer, probably.
Most likely. It was just a... Well, I remember the main event like it was yesterday. It was Joe Legend versus Royal Black.
Yeah.
No, sorry, that was the pre-main. The main was the Suicide Blondes versus the Bushwhackers.
There you go.
Yeah, we used Bushwhackers, King Kong Bundy, Tito, Valentine. They were the first. Valentine was the first champion.
Can you give us a story? Everyone's got an Ike Shaw story or an ICW story or a Hart Brothers School story. You must have something for us.
We had a show in Preston, Ontario, and we had booked Tiny the Terrible, which is a midget from the States, and he couldn't get across the border. So he's calling the office, and he's like, I'm stuck at the border. So I got in the 1984 yellow Cadillac that we had out back, and I drove to the day of the show. So it's 11 o'clock in the morning. The show's at like 7 o'clock at night. I drove to Windsor, argued with a border guard to get Tiny the Terrible to get across the border because it was him versus Frenchie Lamont. We've advertised midgets. So... you can't not deliver this match.
He was the draw.
That's right. So I drove down there, picked him up, put him, got him through. We sent a letter to the border saying that he was employed by the company. Just complete. And then we got him across. I drove back. On the way back, it was pouring rain, and the wipers of the yellow Cadillac, they didn't work.
Oh no.
So after doing that, I had to get back, put on a tuxedo, go out to the show. I had not stopped moving for 24 hours for sure because we've been setting up with all this kind of stuff. And someone's got to go get Tiny. I'm like, okay, here I go.
Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today.
When you have a day like that, what keeps you going to say okay, you know what, I'll do this again tomorrow?
You're in the wrestling business. This is what, as a child, when you're watching wrestling on TV, I want to be a wrestler. If you're that 10-year-old guy watching there and you're watching today's product, and because that's what they like, and you want to be Roman Reigns, you want to be these guys. And I wanted to be in. And the guys who made it and the guys who love it, they got in, and by hook or by crook. Right, I didn't become a wrestler. I started where I sold advertising to get into the wrestling business because that's what they needed, so that I could come to the show. Could I be in the show? And then I don't know if you guys know, but when you're at a wrestling show, people don't show up, and you're like, I need a guy to do music. I'm that guy. Yes. I need a guy to be the ring announcer. Yes. I need a guy to be a manager. Yes. Well, you're over. Hell, now you got to fight. Okay. Right. Most of my life at ICW I spent with Waldo Von Erich, who was the guy there. He was the pro, and Smith, and he taught me more about the wrestling workings of the business than anything about the ring, in the ring. I didn't train like the guys do now, right? He taught me how to make a baked potato and make money off you guys.
All right, so you've got that training, but you have been in the ring. You do wrestle.
Yeah, I wrestle all the time.
So, okay, so how does that happen then? When you're I just jumped in there. Is that what it was? They just okay, we need a body, get in there. How does it evolve to the point where you're yeah, okay, I wrestle and I hold championships and I'm a main character in a fixture in a company?
Luck. Right place, right time. That's all it is. You you never know what could happen. I was the right place at the right time. I need this. I need this. I need this. I could do it. Just natural. Not every wrestler was trained in a gymnasium like by great wrestlers like Josh over here. You know, Bobby Heenan was my idol. You know, never trained. He just took. He used to hear the stories. He took ring jackets back, right, until they needed a guy. Jerry Lawler never trained. Roddy Piper never trained. He's trained into become a worker, not a wrestler.
What do you like doing more? Do you like being in the ring more? Do you like managing? Do you like the business aspect? What's most satisfying for you?
I like being in the ring. I like being in the ring. And once I got in there, I can't get out. That's the problem. And I'm old, and I shouldn't be in there. But and there's guys that can do. I can't do what they can do, but I entertain a different way. You guys saw it tonight. I do something different that nobody else does. So.
I said that to him tonight. The minute you got in front of those people, you belonged there.
Thank you.
And I truly meant that. I said two things about you today. I said you belonged in that ring, and you look like a human version of Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right, so
that is a compliment.
Before you got into the business, you had a store. Do you still have that store?
No, I've had different businesses in my life. I after ICW, I quit. Right, and because I needed to have, what are we supposed to do with your life? Well, I needed to have a wife, I needed to have kids, I needed to have a job, I needed a family. So I opened businesses and I've done different things.
Now, when you say you needed, do you mean like you personally, or are you saying like everyone? That's what I'm supposed to do.
I thought that's what you were supposed to do, and I needed it. I love the family. I love them, and I need people around me. So.
What do they think of all of this?
When my kids were young, they didn't really think anything of it, but now they come and they're interested and they watch wrestling all the time. And they're going to be. My son's 6'1", and he's 200 pounds, and he's 16. So, and he's interested. So, there's and I didn't grow until I was 18, really. And now I'm growing this way, but not this way.
We should let our listeners know who can't see. Lenny is pointing outwards in a manner that I would also.
I didn't say that.
He's making an Adam Contant gesture. Is basically what I say there. Tell us a little bit about outside of the ring. What do you enjoy outside of wrestling? Is there anything that kind of inspires you creatively, or is it everything is just all wrestling all the time?
No. I've been into sports my whole life. All the pro sports league I watch, I follow. I gamble. I play it for years. It seems every 5 years I do something different.
What do you like to bet on?
Right now, whatever. What do you want to bet on?
You want to go now?
You want to flip coins?
You don't go through phases or anything where you're like, I'm focusing on horses.
I loved billiards, like pool.
Really?
And I worked in a pool hall, and I was interested in that. And then when I had a store, I was interested in darts, and I got really good at that. And then I played baseball. I never played hockey. That was different. I can't skate, so.
How does somebody look at darts or billiards and say, oh, yeah, they've got this, they're leading to the left, so I'm going to put my money at, how do you make a bet on something like that?
Education. The same way you make a bet on everything. Well, the Yankees are better than the Orioles 10 out of 12 times, so you got to get the right money at the right time.
What do you think is the most important thing for somebody who loves the business, wants to get into wrestling, but they don't feel like they are a natural born athlete or something like that?
You hang around it. Be here. There's only one way to get in it is to be there. Go everywhere. Volunteer your time, because everybody you can't get in. It's a lot easier now because you can pay someone money to train you and learn. Someone can train you how to be a wrestler, do wrestling moves, but they can't train you to do that. So you have to what it takes to be a wrestler. You have to learn it, right?
Tell me about the Hot Mess Express. Probably one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Just the best.
Bia and I had a really good run with that, and then Ely and Habanero joined in for a while, and then I turned up my back on both of them, and I cut off Bia's hair.
How did that come about? The Hot Mess Express itself. How did that tag team come about?
I was in PWA. I was the villain manager for a long time, and then the crowd just decided that they wanted to cheer because I didn't change my character, act, or anything. They just decided, you know what, we're not booing this anymore. We're cheering this, and then she's one of the best female wrestlers in Ontario, and she gets a cheer everywhere she goes, and it was just a natural thing. And then to be honest, 3 other people used our name after the fact. If you go back and look at it, see when Hot Mess Express started, when we started it, other people and other companies used it after we did. So I'm not mad about it.
Okay, so stuff like that doesn't bother you at all?
No, because it's great, because someone should use it, right? Yeah. But Congo Kong and Chelsea Green, you know who you are.
And apparently everyone else does now too, so that works out. Okay, so you've had several stores. You said that so you've never been a 9-to-5 guy? Like,
I am right now, but I'm not going to tell you where I work.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to do that if you're not comfortable with it. Did you like being an entrepreneur, or do you prefer the stability of a 9-to-5?
No, I like it. It's like I always liked it, and right now I'm looking to get back into it, but I don't know what to do. Right? I don't know what it is. At the time, billiards, I sold pool tables, and I sold dart stuff. I sold games. I sold video games. I've done all of these different things, but I don't know ever since the cell phone became everyone's pocket, there is nothing to buy. Like, there's no reason to go to a store, right? So retail doesn't exist.
What do you think is the biggest challenge right now in terms of like promoting wrestling cards and getting people to shows? What do you think is the biggest challenge in 2019? Because you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I've had success and I've had failure, right? So tonight is a great start to something new. See ya. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you as well.
Hey, no worries, man. We came.
Albright
putting us over. All right.
The hardest thing to do is to let them know. How do you let them know? Because people don't read a newspaper. They don't. You didn't walk unless you walked by and saw the poster I happened to put up on the corner. You wouldn't know. If like using social media, it's hard because most of the people who see your social media are your friends already, and you already talked to them and they already know. So it's word of mouth. I got to do this. I got to get you guys to put it over. I got to get, hopefully next time 5 people heard I don't know what your numbers are. I'm not.
Well, come on, man. Let's.
If 5 people listen to your podcast and come to the show,
let's not shoot for the moon here, okay? 5 people listening to our show. Come on.
But that's what it is word of mouth. Because you guys had a great time, and you're going to go home. If you had a terrible time, you're going to tell some. You might not. Forgot. We couldn't even remember what match happened or whatever. Right. So it was awful. But if you had a good time, they're going to tell someone, and they know, it's coming back December 6th. Well, hopefully they'll come, right? People who have lives and families and kids, and that's always going to take priority. Wrestling is entertainment, and it's an opportunity for someone to go out, have a night out, and be, in people who really buy in, they buy in, and they get that relief from their regular day going to work, and that's what we're trying to provide, something different. And like you said before, the style of this is more like it's 1982, than it is with the current product.
Do you think that with the way the professional wrestling industry is going now, do you feel like more companies should be taking a niche market approach to things, or do you feel like people should be trying to reach as many people as possible with the way things are kind of playing out these days?
You can't. Nobody does it better than Vince McMahon, and they do it the best. Right? They meet the most people. They need competition, which will hopefully develop. Night, guys. Thank you. Wrestling was more interesting and reached more people when they had competition, and maybe they'll have that in the future. But they do it like no show is more interesting than that. It's better than the Super Bowl. Like going to these events and stuff. It's crazy. Like you guys are go there this weekend, and it'll be nuts, right? There's people everywhere. You got to start somewhere.
As a wrestling fan, how cool is it to have seen the wrestling industry grow so much, and to have something like, the WWE brings SummerSlam to Toronto, and then just for even a few days have Toronto kind of be the epicenter of the pro wrestling world for a weekend? Like, that must be really cool.
Yeah, it totally is, and that's why we did this tonight, because thanks, brother. We thought this was a good opportunity for us to show our product around town. There's more wrestling fans here than ever, and we're back.
And in a big way. Man, we had a great time, and I had a great time doing this interview. This was fantastic. Lenny, thanks so much. Always a pleasure, man.
Thanks.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything. Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.
So Cody Rhodes has expressed some displeasure over WWE counter-programming their shows. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my take on this. I don't think Cody Rhodes is so naive as to believe that was never going to happen.
Well, exactly. I just assumed he would do it first, which technically he did.
I think what it is Cody Rhodes trying to get AEW fans fired up.
Yes.
And trying to get them to buy into this us versus them mentality, which is smart because every good promoter who's ever gone against Vince McMahon has done this to varying degrees of success.
Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.